Welcome back to her secret diaries, a place where hidden truths finally find their voice, and secrets that were meant to stay buried slowly rise to the surface. Tonight's story is one that will leave you questioning everything about trust, about family, and about the quiet decisions people make when no one is watching. Because sometimes, the truth isn't revealed in a dramatic moment. Sometimes, it's already been decided long before anyone realizes. And by the time you find out, it's too late. This is the story of the will was already changed. It started with a phone call, the kind of call that instantly makes your chest tighten. Before you even answer, Santa had just gotten home from work. Her heels were still on, her bag still hanging off her shoulder, when her phone lit up on the kitchen counter. It was her younger brother, Adil. She frowned. Adil didn't call much. He usually texted. Memes, short updates, random complaints about work. Calls meant something was wrong. She picked it up. Adil. There was a pause. Not long, but long enough. Santa, you need to come home. Her grip tightened on the edge of the counter. What happened? Another pause. It's AB. Everything inside her dropped. Within 40 minutes, she was driving faster than she ever had, barely aware of the traffic lights or the noise around her. Her father, her strong, stubborn, always in control father, had collapsed by the time she reached the house. Relatives had already started gathering. The living room was full. Whispers, concerned faces. The heavy scent of fear hanging in the air. Her mother sat on the sofa, her eyes red, her hands clasped so tightly together they looked almost frozen. Amy, he's in the hospital, her mother said quickly, as if saying it faster would make it less real. Santa didn't even sit down. She turned and left again. At the hospital, everything blurred together. Doctors moving quickly, machines beeping. Adil standing near the wall, looking smaller than she had ever seen him. How is he? She asked. Adil shook his head. They said, it's serious. Hours passed, the kind of hours that stretch endlessly, where every minute feels heavier than the last. Finally, a doctor approached them, and with one look at his face, Santa already knew. Her father was gone. Just like that. No warning. No goodbye. No last conversation. Just gone. The days that followed felt unreal. People came and went. Condolences were repeated. So many times they began to lose meaning. Santa stayed strong. For her mother. For Adeel. She handled the arrangements. The guests. The responsibilities her father used to carry. But at night, when everything went quiet, she would sit alone in her room, staring at nothing, replaying every memory she could hold. Onto his laugh. His advice. The way he used to call her Beta, with that soft pride in his voice. She wasn't ready to lose him. No one ever is. A week later, reality began to settle in. And with it, responsibilities. Their father had always managed everything. Finances, property, decisions. Now, those responsibilities fell on them. Mostly on Santa, because she was the eldest. Because she was the responsible one. Because that's just how things had always been. One evening, Adil walked into the living room holding a file. We need to look at this, he said. Santa glanced up. What is it? He hesitated. It's Abu's will. The room felt colder. Santa exchanged a look with her mother, who seemed equally uneasy. Their father had mentioned a will once, years ago, but it had never been discussed in detail. Okay, Santa said slowly. Let's see. They sat together. Adil opened the file. Inside were neatly organized documents. Legal papers, signatures, dates. Everything looked official. Everything looked prepared. Santa took a deep breath. Read it. Adil nodded and began. At first, it seemed normal. The house divided equally. Savings split between the three of them. Jewelry assigned to their mother. Santa felt a small sense of relief. At least things were fair. At least there would be no conflict. But then, Adil stopped. His voice caught slightly. What? He swallowed. Another section. Santa frowned. What do you mean? Adil looked up. There's a clause about the business. Their father owned a small but successful business. It wasn't huge, but it was valuable and important. What about it? Sana asked. Adil hesitated again. Then read, the business is to be transferred entirely to Adil Khan. Double quotes, silence. Sana blinked. What? Adil looked just as confused. I didn't know. That doesn't make sense. Sana interrupted. Her voice was calm, but tight. Why would he give it only to you? Adil shook his head quickly. I swear, I didn't know about this. Sana leaned back, trying to process. It didn't fit. Their father was strict, but fair. He always believed in equal distribution, always. There must be something else, she said. Keep reading. Adil nodded, but there wasn't much more, just legal language. Signatures. Witnesses. End. A date. Sana's eyes narrowed. Wait. She reached for the paper. What's the date on this? Adil leaned closer. It says 3 months ago. 3 months. Sana's mind raced. 3 months ago. Her father had been fine. Healthy. Normal. There had been no reason to suddenly change his will, unless something had happened. Did he say anything to you? She asked Adil. No, anything at all. No, Sana. I'm telling you, I didn't know about this. She studied his face, looking for hesitation, for guilt, but he looked genuinely shocked. Her mother spoke softly. Maybe he had his reasons. Sana turned to her. What reasons, Amy? Her mother lowered her gaze. I don't know. And that was the problem. No one knew that night. Sana couldn't sleep. Something felt wrong. Not just surprising, wrong. Her father wouldn't make a decision like that, without explaining it, without discussing it, without preparing them, and yet he had. Or at least, it looked like he had. The next morning, Sana decided to dig deeper. She contacted the lawyer listed on the document, a man named Mr. Rahman. He agreed to meet her. When she arrived at his office, everything looked professional. Organized. Legitimate. Mr. Rahman greeted her politely. I'm sorry for your loss. Thank you, Sana said. She didn't waste time. I have questions about my father's will. He nodded. Of course. She placed the document on his desk. This was prepared here. Yes. And you witnessed it? Yes. Sana leaned forward slightly. Can you tell me why the business was given entirely to my brother? Mr. Rahman paused. I'm afraid I cannot discuss your father's personal reasoning. Sana's jaw tightened. I'm not asking for confidential details. I'm asking if he explained anything at all. Mr. Rahman looked at her carefully. He seemed certain. That's it. Yes. Sana wasn't satisfied. Did anyone come with him when he signed this? Another pause. Yes. Who? Mr. Rahman hesitated. A family acquaintance. Name? He exhaled. Mrs. Farah Siddiqui. Sana's heart skipped. Farah. She knew that name too well. Farah Siddiqui was their neighbor. But more than that, she had been unusually close to their father over the past year. Too close. Sana stood up slowly. Thank you. As she left the office, her thoughts raced faster than ever. Why was Farah there? Why was she involved in something this important? And most importantly, what role had she played? When Sana got home, she went straight to her mother, Amy. We need to talk about Farah, Auntie. Her mother stiffened. What about her? She was there when Abu signed the will. Silence. A heavy, uncomfortable silence. Sana's eyes narrowed. You knew. Her mother looked away. Sana. You knew? She repeated. Her voice wasn't loud, but it was sharp, painfully sharp. Her mother finally spoke. They were friends. Friends don't show up to Will's signings, Emmy. Her mother's eyes filled with tears. There are things you don't understand. Then explain them. But her mother did in single quotes, quiet, broken, and hiding something. That's when Sana realized. This wasn't just about a will. This was about something much bigger. Something that had been happening right under her nose. And whatever it was, It had already changed. Everything. Because the truth was slowly becoming clear. The will wasn't just changed. It had been planned carefully, quietly, and maybe manipulated. And Sana was just beginning to uncover a secret that would change how she saw her family. Forever. Because sometimes, the real story doesn't begin when someone dies. It begins when you start asking questions they never answered. And Sana wasn't going to stop. Not now. Not until she knew the truth. Even if it meant discovering something she wasn't ready to face. Because deep down, she already had a feeling that this wasn't just about money, or inheritance, or fairness. This was about trust and betrayal, and a decision that had been made. Long before anyone realized, the will was already changed. But the real question was, why? And who made sure it stayed that way? Because in families like hers, secrets didn't just exist. They were protected. And the closer Sana got to the truth, the more dangerous it felt. But she kept going. Because some truths, no matter how painful, have to be uncovered. And what she was about to find would change everything she thought she knew. Forever. Sana didn't confront Farah immediately. Not because she was afraid, but because something inside her told her to be careful. Very careful. If there was more to this story, and she was certain there was, then rushing in blindly could ruin any chance of uncovering the truth. So instead, she watched. Over the next few days, Sana paid attention to everything: who came to the house, who called, who avoided eye contact, and most importantly, Farah Siddiqui still came by occasionally. Just like before, carrying food, offering condolences, speaking softly to Sana. Mother. Too softly, too comfortably, as if she belonged there, as if nothing had changed. That bothered Sana more than anything, because everything had changed. Her father was gone. And yet Farah's presence felt constant. Almost expected. One evening, Sana stood near the kitchen doorway, unnoticed, as Farah spoke quietly with her mother. "You need to take care of yourself," Farah said gently. "I will," her mother replied. "You're not alone," Farah added, placing a reassuring hand over hers. Sana's eyes narrowed. That sentence lingered. "You're not alone." It sounded comforting, but to Sana, it sounded like a claim. Later that night, Sana sat with Odile in his room. "We need to talk," she said. Odile sighed. "About the will again?" "Yes." He leaned back. "Sana, I already told you I didn't know about it. I believe you," she said. And she meant it. That wasn't what bothered her anymore. "What I don't understand is Farah Auntie's involvement." Adil frowned. "What about her?" "She was there when Abu signed the will." Adil sat up. "What?" Sana nodded. "The lawyer told me." Adil looked genuinely confused. "Why would she be there?" "Exactly." Silence filled the room. Then Adil spoke again, more slowly this time. "They were close, weren't they?" Sana hesitated. Double quotes, yes. Closer than just neighbors. Sana didn't answer immediately, because the truth was, she had noticed it too. The extra phone calls. The long conversations. The subtle changes in her father's routine. But she had never questioned it, never imagined it could lead to something like this. "I don't know," she finally said. But that wasn't entirely true. Deep down, she had a suspicion, and it scared her. The next morning, Sana made a decision. She was going to talk to Farah directly. No more guessing. No more watching from a distance. If Farah knew something, she was going to find out. Sana walked to Farah's house just after noon. The door opened before she even knocked, as if Farah had been expecting her. "Sana," she said softly. "Come in." Sana stepped inside. Everything looked neat. Calm. Controlled. Too controlled. "I won't stay long," Sana said. Farah nodded. "I understand." They sat across from each other, a small table between them. An invisible tension filling the space. Sana didn't waste time. You were there. When my father signed his will, Farah didn't react with surprise, or confusion, or denial. She simply nodded. Double quotes. Yes. Sana's heart pounded. Why? Farah folded her hands calmly. Your father asked me to be there. Why you? Another pause. He trusted me. Sana leaned forward. For what? Farah met her eyes. For many things. That answer wasn't enough, and Farah knew it. You were close to him, Sana said. Yes. How close? Farah didn't look away. Closer than you probably realized. There it was. The truth. Or at least, part of it. Sana felt a sharp ache in her chest. You had a relationship with him. It wasn't a question. Farah exhaled slowly. Yes. The word hit harder than Sana expected. Not because it was shocking, but because it confirmed what she hadn't wanted to believe. How long? A year. A year. While their family sat together at dinner. While her mother trusted everything was normal. While Sana lived her life. Unaware. Did my mother know? Sana asked. Farah hesitated, then quietly said, yes. Sana froze. What? She found out months ago. Sana shook her head. No. No, that's not possible. It is. Why didn't she say anything? Farah's expression softened. Because she didn't want to break the family. Sana let out a hollow laugh. The family is already broken. Silence. Followed. Heavy. Uncomfortable. Then Sana asked the question that had been building inside her from the moment she saw the will. Did you influence him? Farah's eyes sharpened slightly. In what way? The will, Sana said firmly. Did you have anything to do with it? For the first time. Farah looked careful. I didn't force him. She said. That's not what I asked. Another pause. Longer? This time, he was already thinking about it. That doesn't answer my question. Farah leaned back slightly. Your father believed a deal needed stability. San's voice tightened. And I didn't. That's not what I said. But that's what he wrote. Farah didn't respond, and that silence said everything. Sana stood up, her heart racing, her thoughts spinning. This isn't over, she said. Farah didn't stop her, didn't argue, didn't defend herself. She just watched. As Sana walked out. And, for the first time since her father's death, Sana felt something stronger than grief. Anger. Not just at Farah. But at her father, at the secrets, at the lies, at the decisions that had been made without her back, and worst of all, accepted by the people she trusted most. When Sana got home, she went straight to her mother again. This time, she wasn't asking, she was demanding. You knew, she said. Her mother looked up slowly, tears already forming. You knew about Farah and Abu. Her mother nodded. Barely. Barely, but enough. Why didn't you tell us? Her mother's voice trembled. What would it have changed? Everything? No, she said softly. It would have destroyed everything. Sana shook her head. It's already destroyed. Her mother wiped her tears. I was trying to protect you. By lying to me. By keeping peace. At what cost, Amy? Silence. Then Sana asked the question that mattered most. Did you know about the will? Her mother hesitated. And that hesitation was all the answer Sana needed. You did. Her mother closed her eyes. I found out after he signed it. And you said nothing. I didn't want to create more conflict. Sana stepped back as if the distance might somehow make this easier to process. But it didn't, because the truth was now clear. Painfully clear. Her father had changed the will. Her mother had known. Farah had been involved. And no one, not one person, had told her. Not until it was too late. Not until everything was already decided. The will was already changed, and so was everything else. The trust, the family, the truth. But Sana wasn't done. Not even close. Because now, This wasn't just about understanding what happened, it was about deciding what to do next, because some secrets, once revealed, don't just hurt, they demand a response. And Sana was about to make a decision that would either rebuild what was left of her family or break it completely. Because sometimes, the real story isn't about what was taken from you, it's about what you choose to do after you find out. And Sana was done staying silent. That's all for today's story. If this resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. This is Her Secret Diaries, where your story matters, and I'll see you in the next one.